previously on Alaskan. After weeks of preparation, the crew of the Alaska Gold Expedition has transformed a winterized ghost town into a fully functioning mining camp 12 miles outside of Nome, Alaska. The first week of participants arrived with golden expectations, and as their adventures culminate, they are preparing to leave with memories that will last a lifetime. For most people, experiencing the vast expanse of Alaska will never be anything more than a dream. But for these lucky few, they've been fortunate enough to turn that dream into a reality. They've been given an opportunity to relive a remarkable time in history when tens of thousands journeyed north, wandering uncharted lands in search of riches beyond belief. Nome, Alaska is a place like no other, completely drenched in gold and beauty. The first wave of participants have spent their last week immersing themselves in everything the historic town has to offer. But now, their time in the Great White North has come to an end.
All my materials in my bag, all classified down, and then I'll work it all and get all the gold out of it. Coming again next year.
I had a great trip. Fond memories, great time, great people. I have no complaints about anybody. The crews up there were superior, you know. They took a lot of extra time to point out things and, you know, really get you involved in it, which is really great.
Whatever amount of gold they have is far outweighed by the amount of memories that will remain with them to be shared for the rest of their lives. Just as quickly as they head home, a new wave arrives carrying with them a fresh look of curiosity and anticipation. The crew doesn't waste any time making them feel welcome in the foreign land.
I'm from California. 3 different flights, 13 hours. Fun. I'm gonna go find some gold. Are you kidding? That's what we're here for.
Connie. Hey, Stu.
That's me.
Oh, we don't have a hooch number for you yet.
Oh, I guess I'll sleep outside then.
That should be fine.
Somebody's going to take us to camp in a limo?
Yeah, go out there to the platform. All the luggage is going in that truck.
Having the first week under their belt, they quickly get the new participants and their luggage packed on the trucks and begin their journey to the Cripple River mining camp. As soon as they hit the beach, they are surrounded by people sharing one common interest: gold.
This is fun, man. Everybody wants to come out here. This is everybody's dream to do this.
Well, this is my first year.
Just had the opportunity this year to come up here, so.
Nome, Alaska is currently experiencing a gold rush, a substantial influx of prospectors chasing the elusive nugget.
2-3 years ago, we had maybe 20 suction dredges out in the ocean. I counted 30. So certainly the price of gold is helping the economy.
But why Nome? What sets Nome apart from other gold-bearing land across the globe? Why, for decades, have people spent their summer months camped out on the shore of the Seward Peninsula, overlooking the majestic Bering Sea? Flooding this land over a century ago was a mass movement of men, women, and children. They were not only seeking to indulge in the immense beauty the far north has to offer, but to sprint over the finish line of a race for gold that for over 2 years had been at the forefront of every decision they've made. Upon arriving on the beach of Nome in the summer of 1899, only weeks after learning of gold's discovery on Anvil Creek, they were quickly informed that all of the claims in the region had been staked. News of this nature in the past had been devastating for some. But now, as they gaze off over the horizon, reliving their past, they realized that it was never disappointment or failure that drove them to this place. Instead, it was their passion for freedom and adventure. Passion they never knew existed until the news of $1 million in gold reached the docks of Seattle and San Francisco 2 years prior.
Extra, extra! Gold found in the Klondike. Read all about it.
That spirit just caught hold of America and Canada. There was a little bit of hope, and it was the gold rush that gave them that.
Seemingly rational people got caught up in this mass movement, if you will, to the far north.
They quickly left their jobs and their families and were placed in the middle of a stampede for the Klondike.
Oftentimes, men came up here leaving their families behind to either get the gold or to new beginnings.
They didn't know what they were getting into. All they saw in their eyes was gold.
Upon reaching the first stop on their journey, it didn't take long for them to realize they were on their own. They had been thrust into a lifestyle they knew nothing about.
A lot of folks thought that getting to the Yukon was a simple thing. You just scoop up the gold with your bare hands, but the reality was, of course, far, far different.
The snow is sometimes 20 feet deep. Winds howling 50 miles an hour. Temperatures down to 70 below.
Aside from dealing with con men in Skagway, the Stampeders' first true test of character came when they were greeted with the Golden Staircase.
That's 3 miles. It's about a 2,600-foot vertical rise.
Each person carrying on an average of 50 pounds on their back. It looks like a continuous line of humanity going up the Golden Stairs.
They were on a mass stampede. They just had to get to the gold.
Defeating this obstacle proved that these were not the same men and women that left Seattle. They were beginning to discover something within themselves that they didn't know existed.
A lot of people have restarted their lives after great failure and been able to succeed and to do well and to be happy.
But the journey was far from over.
So they went up here not knowing what obstacles they were going to face, and that cost them dearly.
Some say it was greed that drove these men and women north, perhaps at first. But as they advanced further along the treacherous trail, camping on the frozen wilderness, coming together to manufacture boats to carry them downriver, they were purely driven by an overwhelming sense of adventure and a will to survive.
I've never built a boat with my bare hands out of green logs I had to saw myself. That sounds pretty amazing.
They pushed off down the Yukon River in the midst of an armada of ships, an unprecedented sight that will never be witnessed again.
You had men, of course, that were just itching to get to the Klondike. They would jump on these rickety things of doom and just head to the rapids and smashing on the rocks. I mean, men were lost.
These unexpected rapids surely tested their fortitude. The whitewater claimed many lives, while leaving others stranded far from civilization.
They had endless challenges.
For those who endured on, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. They saw the golden streets of Dawson glowing over the horizon.
Well, when people arrived in Dawson, certainly reality hit them in the face.
As they arrived at their promised land, they were greeted with their final test. All of the claims were staked, and they were forced to sit back and watch others extract all the wealth from the ground.
A lot of folks, once they got here, they just simply put a for sale sign on their outfit and turned around to go home. That was enough adventure right there for them.
They spent months trying to figure out what they would do next. They had dedicated such a great part of their lives traveling to this unknown land and felt some sense of entitlement after such a grueling journey.
There is a saying that 1 million people dreamt of coming up here. 100,000 actually laid plans. 30 to 40,000 would actually arrive here, but only a few hundred would strike it rich.
It wasn't until they were sitting on the beach of Nome that they fully realized and appreciated the transformation their spirit had endured.
You know, there's that metallic gold. That's one kind of wealth, but there's another wealth which draws people up here too, and that's the wildness of Alaska and the Yukon.
They were different people, better people.
It's the challenge.
The gold rush was more a quest for self than it was for gold.
After a few of the most difficult, rewarding years of their lives, a miracle occurred. One of the Stampeders ran their hand through the beach sand of Nome, Alaska, and in it was a tremendous amount of gold. Almost overnight, a tent city erupted covering 40 miles of the beach of the Bering Sea. This time, there was no shortage of good claims. This time, they didn't just find a fortune of gold, they earned it. They finally got their piece of the pie.
They were all trying to get rich, but as I said, in the end, it really wasn't about the gold at all. It's about what they discovered about themselves.
The gold rush was the new beginning for everybody.
Alaska is just kind of a magic place for that. You're in this vast amount of land, and it's humbling, but at the same time, you can find yourself.
All of the gold in the world could not replace the value of the experiences and memories that the Stampeders had made along the trail. The beach of Nome, Alaska will continue to provide dreamers the opportunity to find whatever kind of fortune they're seeking for years to come. All of which is accredited to the tenacity of the men and women of the Great Klondike Gold Rush.
We had an agreement, $1,500 an ounce, we'll sell off what we got. It hit 15. They had to recompromise. Now it's at 2. So we'll see what happens with 2. I'm not arguing. We honestly, we don't need to sell it. No sense in selling if you don't have to. Save it for a rainy day.
Every year, the winter storms push new gold onto the beach around Nome. This creates opportunity for people like John Boudreau and his wife Abby to spend their summer attempting to extract it from the ground.
I've been coming up here for a few years, and when you're up here on your own, you're on your own. I mean, you know, you got to make sure you have enough supplies and you have everything you need. If you don't have it, you know, you got to find it. We started when we got back last year from the expedition and started buying stuff and storing it, and then shipped it all up about May 1st.
Ed Hanasik is an Alaskan native who made his first trip to Nome.
I'm from Skagway. That's where the gold rush started. You guys, you know, do any kind of research. Skagway is gold country, man. So we've been planning on this for about 2 years. Probably about 4 years if you want to include ordering stuff. Hiked the Chilkoot Trail several times. Shot a lot of mountain goats up there on the Canadian side.
Even 21-year-old Nate Peck decided to spend his summer away from college chasing a possible payday.
Yes, I came up by myself. I did a whole lot of research to learn about what was involved with the dredges, and my dad came up 3 years ago to do construction work, and he got to know some of the commercial divers, and I heard how good they were doing, so I thought I'd give it a try. As far as stuff to bring up, that didn't really take too long. I've done a lot of stuff outside.
We brought dredge and a tent and pretty much it, and then we bought some quads up here to get around on, so that's not too bad.
The Gooch family has come up to Nome to spend some time together and see what appears in the bottom of their pan.
It's mostly Dad doing it, but
I try to help. He's been up here a bunch of times. This is his first time to Nome.
Meanwhile, back at the Cripple River mining camp, the second-week participants have arrived, and the crew immediately makes them feel welcome.
Anybody not here, raise their hand. There's always one. I've been camp manager now for 3 years, and my main function is to try and instill the love that most of us have up here.
My name is Marcy Hennard, and I'm over transportation and housing. I can give them their hooch assignments and kind of show them where they are, and if they have trouble, then we go get somebody that can go help fix their hooches, or if it's leaking and raining, stuff like that. So,
okay, anything we can do for you up here, please feel free to ask us. We may not be able to fix the problem, but we'll darn sure take a shot at it. We may make it worse, but we'll give it the old college try.
So we can have 125 participants and about 90 crew. Anybody else have a question? Well, let's go have a good time.
I advise anybody that comes up here, if you're going to come up next year, book early, stay longer, book early.
Anxious to find some of that famous Nome gold, they don't waste any time getting to the beach.
Brought my dad up, have a good time. The vacation with the dad was the primary, but the gold is icing on the cake. I mean, you can't turn that down, right? I'm not going to give it back.
It's a birthday present. I had my 75th birthday in June. He says, "You got to do this once in a lifetime." And I said, "I'm ready, let's go." So here we are. You're going to have to work hard to get more gold. You know that, don't you?
I'm not paying for your trip.
You're not?
No.
Oh, it's my birthday present, I thought.
Oh, wait a minute, that's right.
That's right.
You see it on TV, it's until you actually touch here, it's totally different. This was amazing. Our goal was 12 ounces, so.
Well, actually, I told everybody home I wanted to bring a pound, but I'll settle with 12 ounces.
The beach boxes are up and running, and in no time, gold begins to show its colorful face.
I guess this is owned by Alaska Gold Company, and they charge like a couple $100 for a campsite for the summer.
While beach mining is what brought the masses to Nome in the beginning, some preferred to go to the source by pushing dredges in the ocean in an attempt to suck the gold up off the ocean floor.
I'm the mineral property manager and the person responsible for the Nome offshore activity. We created a new what's called West Beach wreck mining area right here. And they're primarily designed for small operators that have 6-inch dredges.
We got a 6-inch and we got an 8-inch dredge. We've been using the 6 right now, and we're waiting to go down the beach with the 8-inch dredge.
It's a little beach dredge. You can dredge up close to shore. You don't have to dive deep in the water, which I'm not accustomed to doing that, so.
Well, we have a permitting application form that this time, if you're in the new West Beach area, we're requiring it, just so that we can keep track of the dredgers and also enforce the rules that we've implemented for it. We would recommend that people come up here with a small dredge and try it out, see if it's something that they enjoy doing. And if they do enjoy it and they do find that they're getting some gold and paying their expenses and so forth, then obviously if they want to go up in size, that'd be great. These dredgers up here are a class in themselves.
This year, Nome has opened up a section of the beach to the public, making gold more attainable for the recreational miner.
It used to be lease only here on the beach. You had to, they had leases out, and what they decided to do this year was turn around and make it a public beach where you have to file for your permits. You have to go through the mining department and get your permits, and you get a dredging permit, royalty permit, and some other ones. And then you can go up to a 6-inch dredge the first year, and you got to stay within a quarter mile out, and it's just first come, first serve. If you've got a spot, they have to stay within 75 feet away from each other.
When I got here, all the businesses were closed because it was Memorial Day weekend. so I had to make do with what I could find, and this was it. It works. It's made out of pallets and tarps.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're living in a tent every day. It's just kind of, you know, it's like one big camping trip, I guess.
And it filled up this year pretty good. I was amazed how many tents are on the beach this year. And the first one we had was a little dome tent, Arctic type deal, and you had to crawl around. This other tent that a friend of us loaned us since he had to go home, real good. It's got a 55-gallon wood stove in it. It's big enough for fitting 6, 8 people. We got a little kitchen in there, and radio and bunks made, so it's pretty comfortable.
We're down there with the Alaska flag and the Army tent, and that's our campsite down there. We're Alaska boys. You know, we've been finding an ounce a day. We think it's right in the trough, you know, where nobody else goes. That's where we've been finding good gold. You know, right in close, because none of the big boats can come in. We've got a small dredge, and we can come in tight. I ain't leaving till I get 100 ounces.
Still to come on Alaskan. We've learned what brought people to this region of the world, and now is the time for the participants of the Alaska Gold Expedition to make their ancestors proud.
Bring some others along with you. That way maybe you don't have to do all the work.
They begin breaking into some serious pay streaks while continuing their golden adventure.
You have a chance to come out here and hit a pay streak, and it'd really pay off for you.
For extended content, visit AlaskanTheSeries.com and join the Alaskan the Series fan community on Facebook for all the latest news and updates.